Savant.
Oh my stars! Cole Curfew ties it.
He's in. He scores! Oh my! Demidov!
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Curfew Boys. Before we get things started, if you like what you hear or see, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. Anything else? Am I missing anything else? I think we're there.
Basically.
Those are the social medias.
Those are the social media platforms.
Yeah, those are the social medias, bro. Yeah,
Bro.
those are the social media platforms that we have. I think, unless there's others like Threads.
There will be
I don't
others.
even know. We're on Threads, but like I don't even know why that platform still exists. But
I never
Meta
knew
Most
what
reminded me.
importantly, everything I just said, follow us on YouTube as well. We are on YouTube. It is free. Share with your friends. You can see our beautiful faces, especially my baby face right
Dude,
now.
what
Remember
the
last
hell?
episode, we were rating my mustache. That is gone.
You're probably gonna
That
get
is
carded if
history.
you go to the liquor store today.
Dude, Did you put any oil on that baby face? What the fuck's going on?
Listen,
Don't ask what I did. Last night I was in a fucking mood and I just...
people
and it's-
paid to
No,
look young, Anthony.
no, but
you know that
this
people
is-
paid to look young.
No. Here's exactly what happened. Anthony was shaving. He fucked up, clipped something, did a hole, did
sure
a
of it.
patch in the beard, and he's like, "Fuck it,
No,
I have,
look,
to, I have to shave the whole thing."
We'll get into that. So everybody started liking the stash. They're like, it's different. I like
love
it.
it.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I was coaching my son's team, and everyone was calling me Ted Lasso. And like everybody was screaming Ted Lasso every time I was
Teddy.
talking to the kids. And I said, I think it's time to go.
I
It's
still
fair.
have
It'll go
yet to
back.
watch a
I've
single
yet to
episode.
watch that.
but
I heard it's very good.
Lots of people have freaked out about
So,
it.
I've seen one or two episodes. It's very Canadian.
Okay,
It's super. I would say there's a lot of Americanism in there too, but it's just so heartwarming. Like he's such I watched the whole thing through and through. He's such just a good human being, and like what you would hope a coach would be. Doesn't give up, has his own challenges that he faces, but just
Look
like
at
he's
you.
a really really good human being that brings the best of humanity to coaching, and it's really something.
that's pretty cool.
Something to do later, Sam.
We're
Me and
gonna-
you.
yeah, together
Yeah. with this Justin Bieber face.
with our beardless faces.
But okay, so yes, if you like what you hear, you can listen to us on any. Wow, it's early morning, guys. Happy Canada Day, happy Free Agency Day. But yes, if you like what you
Yes.
hear, you can listen to us on any podcast platform such as Spotify, Apple, Google, and any other podcast platform you'd like to listen to. Also, before we get things started, I would like to thank our sponsors for this episode. We got Mike's Rubs in the house. So Mike's Rubs is a Canadian company based out of Montreal, Quebec that sells barbecue rubs, sauces, and kettle-cooked chips. All of their products are proudly made and packed in Canada. They could be used in all types of meat, vegetables, and even fish. They have chips that are kettle-cooked in Canada, and they are the only company in Canada who is using their own barbecue rub as their seasoning for their chips. Follow their social media pages such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. All their products are available to purchase on their website at www.mikesbarbecuerub.com, and they also ship all across Canada. We will have this in our social media page, so follow them. You'll get all their information there. Also, Sammy, Chris, Zook,
Yes.
always don't forget to rub your meat. Also, I'd like to thank our other sponsor. We love him so much. Habs Cave, Sunil. Guys, follow him on Instagram. He has amazing Habs content. Not only that, he's just an amazing guy. He supports the community. Great guy to talk to. Chris, we have a big event coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
He will be involved in this event. It is
Get
for
your
the
golf clubs warmed up, boys.
for the Liam Foundation. It's going to be a big golf tournament on July 14th. Chris and I will be there, so we'll have a lot of content for you there. Sunil is part of this foundation. Guys, follow him. He's a great guy. Habs Cave at Habs Cave. Amazing Habs memorabilia. Every man's dream to have his basement. I mean, every fucking man's dream to even have a basement, just period, like that. But yes, give him a follow. Let me introduce you to my boys. We got GQ Chris in the house. What's up, my man? We got Ballbuster Zook, Baseman Zook, whatever. And we
All of the
got
above.
Fireman Sam.
Hey now.
And your host tonight, we got, this morning, Justin Bieber in the house. Guys, happy Canada Day.
Happy
To
Canada
all
Day.
our followers out there who are Canadian, happy Canada Day and happy Free Agency Day.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about, Sammy.
Just
Go
want
for
to
it.
say happy Canada Day to the men and women that serve in our military. A big shout out to them as well. Happy Canada Day to Canadians around the world, not just in Canada. And hopefully you cheer for the proper Canadian team, which is, the jerseys behind us, the cap that Chris is wearing. It could be the Laval Rockets as well, the farm team of these boys. And even though Anthony's wearing the wrong Laval t-shirt, it still represents. Free Agency Day, man. You know what? This week has been an interesting week all across the NHL, not just regarding the Montreal Canadiens. I think it all started, if we look at the day of the draft, it started with the famous Noah Dobson trade, trading picks number 16 and 17 to the New York Islanders for Noah Dobson. You know what? I even though the Canadiens are not drafted in the first round, I think a lot of hockey analysts everywhere are saying the Canadiens are one of the teams that won. I guess they won the draft. Obviously, you could put in the New York Islanders there. Philly did a couple of good picks as well. A lot of good teams. A couple of teams did a lot of good picks too, right? It was a pretty decent draft, but
Decent draft, but not a deep draft. So, I mean,
no,
because it wasn't a deep draft,
Dropped off
we
after
won
10.
this.
But see, it's something we didn't mention, but I truly believe the reason why they pulled the trigger on this trade, it's like, yeah, when you hear that a Noah Dobson type of defenseman is available, you inquire all that you can. But to me, that also says that I wouldn't say they weren't comfortable with the certain prospects that were around the 16-17 range, but I think they judged that they have good pieces that could be bottom six role players or mid six role players. And I'm talking about the Owen Becks. You could add in the Florian Jack guy, hopefully the Tyler Thorpe, maybe the Luke Tuck that's still there.
Davidson.
And I think they felt that they could afford to give those two picks away to really solidify the core on defense now. Because I think that's we were worried about how, like, yes, your Caden Goalie and your Lane Hudsons and even your David Reinbackers, those are the guys they're going to go with as far as this rebuild is concerned. But the right-hand side, I don't think that, to me, still says they're still unsure about Logan Mayou's development. Not that he's playing terrible and not that he's not progressing, but maybe he's a defenseman that needs more time, especially on the right side. They had to pull the trigger. But I think the best thing above all is that the player they were aiming for at 16 or 17, Alexander Zarovsky, they still managed to be able to get him at pick number 34 when they traded picks 40, the two picks they had at 48, 49, whatever it was, to trade upwards and still land him. That, to me, is the biggest win. As far as the Montreal Canadiens concerned, as far as moves, I'm not saying it's the steal of the draft, but they hands down got maybe the prospect with the best hands in this entire draft. Like, if you look at Zarovsky's highlights, fuck, this kid can deke the shit out of anybody. Like, he could deke you through a phone booth, if phone booths still exist. I mean, there's still work to be done. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but the fact that he's also not close, but he's friends with Ivan Demidov too. They've known each other since they were kids. And we're going to talk about more of the draft picks later on, and then we'll get into free agent frenzy here. But I'm satisfied with the Canadiens and how they drafted this year. You can look at the defenseman from Medicine Hat, Bryce Pickford, like, he's progressing too. Right-handed defenseman, I believe. I'll just double check that. Let me get my facts right here. Shoots right. 19 years old, 6 foot, 183 pounds. Put up 47 points in 48 games with the Medicine Hat Tigers. So on the overall, then there's obviously LJ Mooney, who might be undersized, but if you look at the skill level, the talent level this kid has, like, oh my God, like, yeesh. Like, yeah, he's small, but this kid's got
Wait.
talent, man. So on the
He's-
overall, I'm
He's small, Sammy, but do you see how feisty he is too? He's a hitter, dude.
dude. He well,
Yeah, and
he
even
could hit
commented
those
on
that
it.
highlight.
He's like, because he was forced, he was smaller. He was born in this frame growing up, and
Mhm.
while he's developing, he was forced to develop his physicality. That side of the
Yeah,
game as
a
well
thousand
too. So he's
percent.
not just like he's not just a Cole Caulfield type of player. I think he could be a
But
feisty player too, gritty. The Brad Marchand style. He's not a
but
big guy, Brad Marchand,
he
but
might have
you know,
but he might have those skill sets. He might
Yeah.
he might be able to snipe like a Cole Caulfield. He might be able to, dude. For a little guy, like, he's explosive. You see him take off with the puck. His acceleration is, dude. Anyways,
Yeah.
And you even had Colby Armstrong really praising him.
oh yeah, the guys
significantly.
on spinning chicklets. Oh, they said, like, look
Honestly.
out for him. Now, I'm not gonna go ahead and say he's the steal of the draft, but you know what I mean. I'm. There's still a long ways for him to go, and we're gonna see, like, how he progresses, and I'm sure he will. And then he's gonna get an entry level contract. I see him as a Sean Farrell replacement further down the line in Laval, and then we'll see where his game transitions. He's most likely going to play in the NHL. Where exactly, we don't know. There's still miles and miles ahead of him. So, no, on the overall, I'm happy with the Canadians and how they drafted it. Just like, yeah, man, Noah Dobson. Like, we're still freaking out about that.
I want to say something about this. So I know we're all excited with Noah Dobson, and we're happy with how this draft panned out to end. But I think we can safely say we know now the vision of our team, where they're heading, what they want now. Because I was having this argument with some people. Oh, we screwed up with this draft. We should have picked 16, 17. The future, we ruined the future. Stupid comments like that, right?
Oh,
But
man.
I don't think if you want to talk about this a few years ago, then yes, that argument makes sense. But I think that we had this conversation, Sam and I, last episode when we talk about the rebuild. I think we're at the end of the rebuild. Can we all agree to that? We're not at the beginning of our rebuild. So if we're at the beginning of the rebuild, then yes, you're focusing on future prospects, players who are going to be ready in 3, 4 years, 5 years, whatever. But I think, I'm not saying we're a contending team yet. I'm not saying we're there yet. We're not a team that's ready to contend. But I think on if you want to talk about rebuild, we're there. We're at the end of it. So why are we focusing? Why would you want to focus on future prospects? We have a lot of potential depth in our lineup, right? Again, when I say potential, there's a lot of young players who have not ready yet. Like you said before, Mayu, Reinbacker, all these guys, they're there. They're on paper, they're projected to be great fucking players for our team, but they're not ready yet. They're still young, still a lot of experience. So I think we're at the end of our rebuild. We just now need to form the team. We had said this, Sam, many times, and everybody, we've said that we're just now trying to get the experience in the lineup now. And that's where Dobson comes in, an experienced player, a guy who can put up points.
Still young, though, at the age of 25.
But that's a good thing, right? We always said that this team wants to be built with established players already in the league. When we did that doc trade, we all said, I think Hughes' vision is, let's get rid of some of our prospects or picks or whatever you want to call it for established NHL players who are putting up points. Like, okay, Doc, right now we're hoping that this year we can get what we were supposed to get from him, whatever. But Dobson,
at one point, Doc was projected to be the number one centerman on this team ahead of Nick Suzuki.
That's
before that injury happened. So
I think, just to finalize my thing, sorry, Chris, I think we're at the end of our rebuild. We just need to fine tune some things, get that size that we need, get that centerman that we need. But on the defensive side, we're done. So I think we won the trade, and I think this draft shows the league and shows us fans where we are, where the vision is of Hughes and Gorton. I think we're just there. We want to contend in the next year or two. I think that's how it looks.
Yeah. And I think that's so well said, but I do want to add to it. I don't only think that we're at the end of the rebuild. I think we're ahead of schedule. Now, if you take the 2 draft picks that are 16 and 17, realistically speaking, for the players that we could have landed at that spot, they're probably not of use to us for the next 4 to 5 years. They probably don't see ice time on the Montreal Canadiens roster for the next 4 to 5 years. If you're looking at how everything is panning out right now and we're saying we're ahead of schedule in this rebuild, they're ready to start competing. I'm sorry to say this, fans, but these are probably going to be the years that are a little bit heartbreaking, in that the Montreal Canadiens, kind of like the Florida Panthers, kind of like the Tampa Bay Lightning, they are going to have to lose a few times. They're going to have to make it to the playoffs. And I think we're at the point, especially with the Dobson move, that we have solidified our defense enough to always be in the playoff picture for the next 5 to 7 years. I think that's a guaranteed lock. But I think the big thing that has to come out of this is that, when people are saying this is a lost opportunity, no, our window is just starting to
Starting to
open
open.
up
Yeah.
now. And those 2 picks are not going to be useful at all for
And-
us for that 4 to 5 year span. I'm not saying that we're going to win within the 4 to 5 year span. It might be closer to the 5 or 6 year mark that we're really competitive, like really, really, really competitive. But nevertheless, what people have to retain is that we didn't give up Reinbacher. We didn't give
no.
up Mayu.
No.
We didn't give up. I mean, Heineman is a big loss. I loved Emil Heineman. I think I speak on behalf of most Habs fans. We loved what he brought, the energy, the forechecking, great shot. Just seemed like a great person all around. It's going to be hard to let him go, but we do have other bottom 6 players that can come in and that can replace him and that can do similar things.
Yeah, and you can find that too in free agency or somewhere along the line.
Not only that, the 16
I'll just wrap it up with this. This to me, the Noah Dobson move and the ability to get rid of these draft picks. I think the big take home message that Habs fans should be getting from it is like, attach that suit, hang on to your hats. We're in it, baby. We're starting.
I just want to remind everybody, picks number 16, 17 to the Islanders, Victor Eklund at 16, and then defenseman. I like this kid, Kashawn Aitchison. Like he's like the modern day Scott Stevens without taking the head out. But like, man, this kid, if he catches you with the head down, he's gonna fucking take you out. And before the trade went down, I was kind of hoping, not that I was hoping the Canadiens landed him, but if this guy was a right-handed defenseman, I would have put all my money in and hoped that the Canadiens would have picked him. But he's a left-handed defenseman, and we all know we have a surplus of that. And even Justin Carbonneau dropped down to pick number 19 by the St. Louis Blues. So, yeah.
But don't get me wrong; these players could be quote-unquote superstars or whatever. These established good players in 4 or 5 years from now, and you can't say 5 years from now, "Oh, we fucked up." No. You have to understand that now we're looking at short term now. Now we're at that stage, right? That window, like Chris said before, we're at that window that they want to compete now.
I don't know if short term, dude. They signed Dobson long term because they're looking at it as a long term process. About,
of course,
they're okay.
Short term meaning
the
window of wanting to start competing is now, not in 6
years.
Right.
Yes,
that's what I meant.
Yes.
Gotcha. The vision now is not okay. And guys, don't worry, be patient. In 7 years, we're going to start being contenders. No, we want to start contending and competing now.
They're acquiring the pieces now. Yes,
that's what I meant. But yes, it is a long term process. The vision of keeping this a long term journey for this team of not winning now only and then fuck off like the Carolina Hurricanes in 2008. We are a team that they want to win starting now, and then it's going to extend for a couple of years. That's the goal. And I think that's where we're at.
Contend for multiple seasons.
It goes down to also the culture that they're trying to build. So it starts with this. So trying to lose in the playoffs or trying to get there to the playoffs. And what happened last year to the Canadiens is now they're starting the season at this level. They made the playoffs last year. Now they're at that level. They can't go lower.
So
now
you're quoting Marty.
But that's what I'm saying, right? So but I got exactly what he meant by that because
1,000%.
Now you have Nick Suzuki, who's like, he's the leader of the team. Now you have all the young kids below him who experienced what they just did, and it's uphill from here. So now they're adding these pieces, and we all said, Sammy, we all said that. Even at the beginning of the rebuild, we were like, the rebuild process will start to to taper off when these contracts that Bergevin signed, unfortunately, will expire. So it's as of next year, we're going to be getting a significant chunk of cash. This is when he's going to be able to get, the grittier veteran style players, the Bennett's who will help you in the playoffs. It's not going to happen now. It's not going to happen, the last few seasons.
Bennett's not going to happen for the next 8 years. So.
No, but I'm just saying there are many players like Bennett or who have experience. Not Bennett, but I'm just saying those players who will add character to your team.
Yes.
Now the Montreal Canadiens have a youth core that not many teams have, right? So no, it's definitely looking good. For sure.
To me, you mentioned Nick Suzuki, he's the leader, and during these playoffs, he played well, but on the stat sheets, he wasn't one of your best. Lane Hudson was one of your best. Dude, Juraj Slafkovský, the first time in his career he does NHL playoffs, and he scored, and he has already got 2 goals. Maybe
how many times did we say
2 points or 3 points?
Yes. I think that's why they got him.
Juraj Slafkovský did not look out of place during those playoffs, and he's just getting warmed up.
His frame
he's not even there yet.
That's it.
It's meant for play. Lane Hudson was obviously on the stat sheet the best player, but Cole Caulfield was scoring goals. Demidov on one of Slafkovsky's goals, he looked brilliant, deacon the shit out of whoever the player. So I love that Marty sings based on his experience. After my playoffs, I was at this level, and I started the next season at that level. So imagine all these kids, your Demidovs, your Slafkovský, Suzuki, Cole, Hudson, and you know what? You want to throw in a new hook in a sense, but at least that core guys, I wish Kirby Dach was there. Your Caden Goalie, your Arbor Jack guys, hopefully as well.
Look, you said it with the Slav. His body is made for the playoffs, dude. I think he's going to be one of those guys where
1,000%.
When we're on a serious run, he's going to
1,000%.
He just needs to start using it. Fuck.
Yes.
To your point,
he will.
To your point, though, Zook, what I find so amazing is especially with the Noah Dobson trade. I think we had confirmation. We had all said it at one point or another. The league is taking notice of the Montreal Canadiens. We all said it, and for him to want to come here. That's the first time in my lifetime, at least let's say from my early teenage years, that I can actually remember people wanting to come. Not people wanting to leverage Montreal's willingness to pay to get a better contract somewhere else.
Yeah, right.
The number one destination that Noah Dobson, the number one destination out of the teams willing to trade for Noah Dobson, his first choice was to come here to Montreal. You heard it in his speech too. Not to go too much back. We want to focus on free agency. We want to focus on the draft. We want to focus on that. But it's just the league is really taking note, and I think players are not stupid. They know what they're going up against every single night. And seriously, I think that a lot of people fully understand that the Montreal Canadiens have a very, very bright future in the next 5 to 7 years. And that's what makes a day like today so interesting. I'm really curious to see whether or not there are guys that are going to be willing to take pay cuts or who are going to take a flyer out on the Montreal Canadiens to come here knowing what's coming.
But it falls in perfectly to what the two of you have said. Zook, the culture is probably the number one reason why Dobson came here. Signed that extension for less money, longer term, and I think you're going to start seeing that slowly. Players are going to take less money for longer term, especially with the new CBA that kicks in at the end of next season, where you could sign maximum 7 and not 8, and that's why Lane Hudson, they need to sign him not ASAP, but at least hopefully before the next CBA kicks in. If they can manage to instill and grain that culture mentality to Lane Hudson's agent, signs 8 years at $9.5 million, same amount as Dobson, that's when you know they're going to start winning. Just because of that culture winning mentality, okay? As much as we all agree, maybe Lane Hudson's going to deserve more down the line. But if they could sign Lane Hudson at the same amount of Noah Dobson for 8 years, that right there, you know that culture is getting established. Look at what Florida just did in 24 hours. Look at what just Florida, and we can transition into free agent frenzy. But look dude, Florida Panthers, that's exactly what they're doing. And
D'Angelo resigns in Anthony D'Angelo resigns, I think, in New York.
There you go. Okay, yeah, not the Rangers because that didn't end well for him in the Rangers.
No.
But dude, Aaron Ekblad, like, come on, are you kidding me? Aaron Ekblad took a major pay cut just to stay in Florida. Like
Was it 6.1 million?
6.1 million. Brad Marchand, 5.25 million.
But
Brad
6 years for Brad.
They did it so smart. Dude, he's going to play for 3-4 years. The next LTIR, keep taking that paycheck, and they could use that money to kind of fetch another player that has a bit more term on their contract. But, dude, Bill Zito, Italian pride, he's the best general manager in the league right now. No offense to our Kent Hughes as a second. Right now, Bill Zito, dude, look at what Florida just did. And everyone's saying, oh, it's the state tax, It helps. I'm not close-minded to say no state tax doesn't help, but doesn't have guys. These players want to stay in Florida because they have that winning mentality, that winning culture, that family mentality that we're starting to see
guys
in Montreal.
Put the house on the line, man. If they stay healthy, you're seeing them in the finals again next year, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. But dude,
I would not be surprised.
The team did not change. The team did not change that they won't make the playoffs. Hey, listen,
they won't make the playoffs.
If they don't, that's good for us in our division. That's good. That's good for us.
I said it last year that Boston would not have made the last playoffs, and they didn't make the playoffs.
But Boston was a lot easier to predict their decline. But
not really. They made the playoffs last year.
Yes,
last year they were like the top team in the league, dude. Boston. What are you saying?
July 1st.
Yeah, then when Patrice Bergeron was gone, that's it.
Right.
It was done. They lost Bergeron. They lost Krejci. Anyways, they got rid of Allmark and net. Like, dude, that's because Cam Neely and that other idiot and the management they destroyed the culture over there. Yeah, look what's happening with you. Look, you guys want to compare winning cultures versus like kind of not toxic environment, but like just because managers are not treating the situation properly. Look what Cam Neely did when he said, "Oh, I have 60 million reasons why you should stay," and look what Chris Drury is doing in New York. They went from the two teams that have a great chance at winning the cup to all of a sudden, well, now New York is imploding, and Boston, pretty soon they're going to have to start doing a rebuild of their own.
Yeah.
And look what's going on in Florida with the Panthers. Tampa Bay, too. They got a winning culture, whether we want to admit it or not. Okay? That's what it comes down to. Patrice Bergeron and Sidney Crosby, they have that winning mentality and that winning culture, less money for more opportunities to win. And what you're starting to see that we're seeing that in Florida, and we might even see that within our own team.
No, I think it's a question of time. I think if you could get a tandem signing of this is a little bit aggressive and ahead of schedule, but if you can sign also Demidov before the new CBA kicks in, you do a tandem deal. Both of you get $10 million.
I don't think you could. I don't know the rules exact. I don't know. Don't fully quote me on this. I'd have to double check the rules. But look at Slavkovsky. They extended him in the final year of his entry level. So I think that's the.
Didn't he burn because he played the end of this season? He burned 1 year. So technically, it would be.
He's got 2 years. He's got 2 years. Well, same thing with Lane Hudson, right? Yeah. So Lane Hudson is his final year of his entry level, and maybe that's why they could extend him. Again, don't fully quote me on this. I'd have to double check the rules. But if Demidov, he's in his second year because they burned 1 year, whereas Lane Hudson's in his final year, and that's why everybody's saying extend him, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly, dude. What's his name? Mitch Marner.
Okay, guys.
He's off the list. Go.
10:33 a.m. July 1st. Let's stamp it from Anthony, Justin Bieber. The finals next year is going to be Vegas, Florida. I'm calling it right now. I think Mitch Marner will bring some spark to the Vegas team. He's the type of guy that I don't want to compare the situation, but not the player, but the situation. He's a situation. He's a Patrick Roy for Toronto. He's gonna leave. He's angry at his fans. that they technically kicked him out of Toronto, right? They booed him out and this and
They
that.
exiled him,
They
man.
exiled him.
Toronto fans are worse than
Did you see what he
Montreal
wrote today?
fans.
He posted on Instagram,
No, I didn't
Marner,
see. No,
saying
I didn't see.
A big apology to the Toronto fans that he said goodbye, but he apologized for not bringing the cup home, and it's all that bullshit, all politics, right? I'm telling you right now, I would pay anything for Vegas to win next year.
Oh, I would
just
love
to fucking tell the Toronto Maple Leaf fans,
I would
go
love.
fuck yourself.
I would
that's
love
why
it.
I want to put my money on paper on this for Vegas to go to the finals and hopefully win, just to fucking rub it in Toronto Maple Leaf fans. That's
I was so happy when Nazem Kadri won the cup. Just a big middle finger to Toronto.
Right, he won.
I was so happy for him, even though I hated Nazem Kadri during his time in Toronto. He went to Colorado, do what he did. I was happy for him.
Did he win the year after or 2 years after?
Oh, well in 2022, right? So I think it was a year.
Years, no?
Yeah. I think it was 2 years, because when we played Toronto during the bubble play during the in 2021, he wasn't there. So it must have been, oh man, I'm trying to remember. But no, he wasn't. It was 2 years late. All that to say is, yes, a big middle finger to Toronto fans, and then Artturi Lehkonen lifts the cup, so that could be a big middle finger to us.
Not necessarily, because we didn't leave in bad terms with Lehkonen.
No, that's true. You're absolutely right. The difference, and I remember we tweeted this: the difference between Nazem Kadri's situation and Artturi Lehkonen, and everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, and then the ones that you were talking about, it's like, no, it's a laughing in your face to Toronto fans, whereas Habs fans are happy for Artturi Lehkonen.
No, we were happy for Lehkonen. He left in good terms. He just had to go. It didn't fit the lineup. It didn't fit the build.
Well,
but Marner leaving and winning, if he does next year,
I would be so happy.
He doesn't have nearly as much. He's not going to have nearly as much pressure. I think it's
going
to be work by committee in the sense that there's a very good balance in Vegas. I do think that Vegas could go far. I find Vegas though hit or miss. Like some years they're just ravaged with injuries and they're not there, and then other years they're just like dominating. So it's going to be curious to see.
Ravaged with injuries. Did you see Alex Pietrangelo stepping out of the game?
He's basically Carey Price. Who was it in our group who was saying?
Yeah, I said it. He's dude. He's 35 years old. No movement clause, and like that's also why they were able to afford Marner's contract at 8.8 on the cap. He's going to go on LTIR. Who knows if Mark Stone's going to go on LTIR too? Him as well. You know, that's why they're trying to get rid of Thomas Hertl. But they sent in Nick Roy on the other side to Toronto. They traded Nick Hague to Nashville. So they were able to make to me Vegas. I mean, looks like Aiden Hill is their guy. He's got a modified no trade clause too. So I mean, I think Florida. Excuse me. I think Vegas is pretty much set. They don't have they don't have cap space anymore, but they're over $6 million in the caps as far as the cap space is concerned. But once they put Alex Pietrangelo on LTIR, that kind of settles it. But they don't have much room anymore. But they still have a decent lineup.
Look, they're going to be good. They're going to be good. Like going back to Marner, I just find it absolutely. I think it was one of the guys on the Toronto sports media who was just saying, imagine you talk to like a 10-year-old Mitch Marner who's skating around on the ice outside wearing a Leafs jersey, saying you're going to be one of the best players in the NHL. You're going to grow up to play for your home team. You're going to do like, it's such a sad reality. I have to say, like, I really don't, not that I don't care for the guy, but I really don't care for the city of Toronto and that team all around. But imagine telling the guy, like, basically every single one of your childhood dreams is going to come true. And this is the way that it ended. That is such mismanagement and
big time
horribly done by that
culture.
Team.
Joel Hanley on defense signs with Calgary 2 years at the 3 point.
There's a rumor here from a one source.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Sam.
No. Just Joel Hanley signed with Calgary 2 years at $3.5 million, so 1.75 on the cap. Age 34 on defense.
The Canadiens have offered a 1-year contract offer worth of $1 million to Joe Villano.
Joe Villano?
Yeah. He was on the ice
with Is it an offer yesterday. Or is it a signing?
So I'm told the Canadiens.
Where did you see that?
On X. It's from Marc-Olivier Baudouin.
Oh, Mark,
Okay.
well, Dwayne, he's the one that
He's good.
that said that Raphael Harvey Pinard is not coming back. He did not get a qualifying offer from the Canadiens.
Well, look, Villano was on the ice yesterday with Suzuki and Hudson.
Yeah,
just saying. So.
Makes sense. Him as a third or fourth line center. Like, we're all here in Montreal saying we need a second line center. It's like Christian Dvorak is gone. Like, we need a centerman to replace him. Are we comfortable with Alex Newhook taking over that position? Alex Newhook does not have a good face-off rating. I'm not saying he's terrible, but
we need
Christian
a really
Dvorak,
good face-off guy, dude.
And Owen Beck, I love Owen Beck. I just don't think he's ready yet. If he has a strong training camp and he proves me wrong, I'll be more than happy to admit that I'm wrong. But
Listen,
I don't know where it is yet. We need, dude, with Heineman gone and Yoel Armia testing the market. Maybe Oliver Kapanen plays splits roles with Jake Evans on the fourth line at center, but we need another bottom six forward.
yeah.
Like we're like, we need a second line center, guys. We still need bottom line players, like, and hopefully they find a good role player. Maybe Joe Veleno, and he's local boy.
I said, guys, my wish list for today is Tanner Janot.
Oh my god! I just read Tony Marinaro just posted it right now.
Yeah,
one free agent who's exactly what the Montreal Canadiens need.
I said this like a month ago.
Tanner
I know
Janot,
I was on with Sammy. I don't know who else was there, but I really, really, really hope that they make an offer to bring in some grit, some toughness. He would be a perfect third or fourth line guy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Question for you guys.
I agree.
And actually, wait. One more thing about Marner, because I want to transition to another topic.
Yeah.
Okay. But I also want to bring this conversation up. Okay, before we get there. Marner situation is like we've all said about Primo. Perfect transition, right? I think Marner in a different city, in a different environment, will help him win. You saw him in Team Canada, what he brought to that team. I think he'll do the same thing with Vegas. Same thing with Primo. Thank you, Primo, for all that you've done for the Montreal Canadiens. It was time to go. No hard feelings. But I think Primo, in another environment, guys, keep an eye out.
He's going to be back up to Freddie Anderson. Like, if he makes the NHL, I don't see him taking over Freddie Anderson's role as number one in Carolina.
Yeah, but it takes a backup goalie situation moment.
You never know.
He just turned things around, right?
You're the biggest Cam Ward fan on this planet. To Carolina as well. So.
Fuck you.
No, Tanner Janot, I wouldn't mind him. I really don't. As a bottom role player. Are we? What are we checking here? Are we checking Twitter?
Okay,
like,
guys,
what's
can I read
on?
this out loud and tell me if you agree with this? And it's coming from a really good source, Pierre Maguire.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this? I think the Montreal Canadiens are a legitimate team for home ice next year in the playoffs. 1 through 10 on defense. They're the best defense in the league right now. That I agree with. But the whole home ice in next year, you think you're going to finish top 5?
Oh, he thinks we're going to finish
this
top.
Is from Pierre Maguire.
Can we finish top 3 in the division?
Guys, Demidov comes in, adds an offensive dynamic that we haven't seen before. Noah Dobson is an immediate, I don't want to say Lane Hudson 2.0, but the offense that Lane Hudson brought to this team, there's going to be, I'd say, at least 85% of the offense that Lane Hudson was able to bring, because I think Lane Hudson is still a little bit better offensively than Noah Dobson, but I do think you get 85% of what Lane Hudson brings, a second version. I think it also significantly reduces Mike Matheson's ice time for one reason or another, which makes things a lot better.
That's 1,000%. I think.
And then we talked about it before too. All the guys are coming off their first playoff run and knowing what it takes. I think a lot of guys are taking a new step, a big step forward in their play from game one. We hopefully, fingers crossed, Jesus, but like power play 2 is going to be that much better. And I'm saying crossing my fingers because Patrick Laine only came in December. Patrick Laine, say what you want about him. Say that he didn't deserve his spot in the playoffs. If it wasn't for Patrick Laine, we would have not made the playoffs for the number of power play goals.
Yeah.
So injuries, Patrick Laine, the second power play unit is going to be so much stronger because we don't even have room for all the guys that we would want to have on power play line.
You put Dobson on the second power play unit. If they put Demidov on the second power play unit.
No, they can't do that. They can't do that.
Well,
Take
you're
that
gonna
back.
you're gonna have to. Well, hold on a sec. You're gonna have to figure out what are you doing with Slavkovsky and what are you doing with Kirby. I think Kirby Dach, second power play unit. That's without a question. You have to figure out what to do with Slavkovsky and Demidov because you're not gonna put another defenseman with Lane Hudson on the first power play. There's no way. I'd rather see Mike Matheson with Dobson on the second.
You could even have a giant line in for power play line 2 could be Slavkovsky, Doc, and Laine up front with Dobson in the
You
back.
can't. And Anthony and I would discuss this. I still think you need Laine and Caulfield on the same one with Suzuki and Hudson. And now it's just deciding: are you putting Demidov or are you putting Slavkovsky? I don't mind seeing Slavkovsky on the second power play with Doc Dobson. You're probably going to put Newhook there, and you have to put Mike Matheson there too. Yeah. Like I can't see another power play, or maybe they figure out. Maybe they do figure out. Maybe you keep Brendan Gallagher, just stay in front of the net, switch between him and Slav, and then just Noah Dobson on the second power play. No Mike Matheson. I could live with that too. But
D'Amico just posted about Villano as well, so I think the talks are getting strong for Joe Villano. Also, did you guys stay till midnight for Carew situation?
No, I knew it wasn't happening. You did?
I kept refreshing.
No, I was at work on the night shift and I just fell asleep. Mind you, I was stupid. I was watching.
You
YouTube
were up until
videos.
11:52, and then after
yeah,
that,
I know exactly. I don't know what the hell.
I messaged you at 11:55, and you just didn't answer anymore.
So, yeah, because that's when I fell asleep. I swear to God, I wasn't ignoring you.
4 minutes before you fell asleep.
Oh my God, I'd have to wake up and do social
media
media
posts. But there is
still
a chance for him to remove the no movement clause and has to come to Montreal,
Jordan
right?
Kyrou has to. Yeah, he's got a full no trade clause, not a no movement clause, and I got to figure out. I think no movement is like you can't send down to the minors, waivers, and all. Whereas no trade clause, like
he decides where he wants to go. The basically his feet is in his hands.
Pretty much, but like it seems almost equivalent to a no movement clause, but. I just don't see. I've been thinking about this for a while. Like, who do you send over? I think, and I would hate for this to happen, but I think Josh Anderson could fit the mold of a St. Louis Blues type of hockey, like speed and power, even at his age. Yeah. But I don't want to see him go because we were talking about the Canadiens at the playoffs, like the two seasons the Canadiens made the playoffs, and look what type of a beast Josh Anderson was for us.
Yeah.
Dvorak talks St. Louis.
Yeah, that's smart.
High talks.
That's the dude. St. Louis getting Dvorak as a third line centerman, face off specialist, and even on the penalty kill. Dude, teams are gonna go get Christian Dvorak. If he signs at like $2-3 million for the role he's gonna play, it's a good deal. We criticized Christian Dvorak a lot, and like he had probably his best season with us last season because he was healthy for once. Teams are going to sign him. To me, where does Mikael Granlund go? That's the big question. That I'm curious.
For some reason, I feel like he'd randomly go to a stupid team like that doesn't need him, like the Rangers or something like that. I don't know what to tell you, but I have this random feeling about.
If he goes to the Rangers, then what do they do with Vinny Trocheck? That's another question the Rangers gotta figure out. That was
another guy that you heard rumors swirling around with the Montreal Canadiens.
But they have $13 million. They still have $13 million in cap space. They're still Trocheck still under contract. Like, hey, like Mikael Granlund to the Rangers doesn't sound so bad actually. They still got cap room.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be interesting to me. But the other two big names is Brock Besser and Nikolai Ehlers. Where are they gonna land? Actually,
Ehlers was brought up numerous times by Patrick Laine.
Oh fuck, it's true. Yeah, but given his age and all that, like he's a great player. He knows Quebec. I don't know, but I could see Ehlers going to the Rangers too, though.
Yeah, people like the bright lights of New York. I mean, you have money there. It's got to be a pretty interesting like way of life and pretty exciting. There's no limit to the things that you can do and keep yourself busy with. So, like once upon a time, I say that because once upon a time, apparently Brendan Shanahan. Remember when he signed for the Rangers? He was scheduled to come to Montreal. Apparently, the story went that he had a layover in New York and fell in love with the city, and he decided to sign there.
Yeah, it's
How true that story is, don't quote me on it. I'm
New
just
York
saying.
is New York, right? But
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Brock Besser stay in the West Coast and maybe go to a California team.
He's got that look to him. Like just, I'm gonna go surf.
I don't even know what that means.
And I'm gonna just go surf at the beach, take it easy, show up to the game tonight, play, and
like the Kings got cap room, and obviously the Ducks and the Sharks got cap room. Dude, if I'm a free agent and I'm still the age of Brock Besser a little bit, like San Jose, dude, with Macklin Celebrini and drafting second overall Michael Misa, who's going to be amazing. They got $44 million in cap room, man. Like
I have a joke.
Oh, go
Corey
for it.
Perry is on the market now. Imagine he goes to Vegas, goes to the finals, and loses.
ha.
No,
man.
there's dude. You know what? You laugh. There's rumors that Corey Perry might go back and finish career in Anaheim. It's rumors,
That would
or
be nice.
it's rumors,
That
or
would be
gut,
nice.
or it's a gut feeling. I would love to see that. Did you guys see what number Dobson is going to wear?
53.
53.
Victor Mete.
Your boy, 53.
God.
That was his.
Ryan White.
That was his major junior number. Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah.
I loved Ryan White during our
I
time.
loved Ryan White too.
So, yeah, no, it's
Did you know there was rumors that Rantanen was supposed to go to Toronto for the trade of Marner?
yeah.
And they fucked
Marner,
up on that.
yeah. Marner didn't want to waive his no trade clause. I don't blame the guy. He really, dude, Mitch Marner gave his blood, sweat, and tears to the Leafs, and even though he couldn't
Definitely
get
tears.
it, yeah, definitely tears, especially in that penalty box, the delay of game. Like, I think I agree with that. I think he's gonna thrive in Vegas, and I hope he does, man. I really hope he does, because yeah,
Or
I
he
just
gets
wanna
injured and doesn't play for a few years.
No, I don't think.
No.
No, I don't think he's gonna get injured.
We're going to see Marner in Vegas like he played with Canada, Team Canada. He's going to shine. He's going to shine. No pressure. No pressure. And he's in Vegas. He's going to have fun there. Different environment, man. Toronto's... fuck Toronto. Fuck you. Just fuck.
So the Canadiens sent qualifying offers to there was 5 players. Now they were down to 4. So Jaden Struble, Jakob Dobesh, William Trudeau, and Sean Farrell. Sean Farrell had a breakout season with the Laval Rocket, and it helps when you're playing with 2 veteran players like Barré Boulet and Laurent Dauphin.
Dolphin, yeah.
I'm curious to see I'm more curious to seeing the contracts of Struble and Jakob Dobesh.
Yeah.
And then they obviously qualified. They gave a qualifying offer to Caden Primo, traded him for a 7th round pick to Carolina, which is kind of funny, a 7th round pick for a 7th round pick. But anyways,
Beautiful.
I mean,
Can I be very honest with you guys?
yeah,
How the hell does Jaden Struble fit on this team anymore?
He doesn't.
he's a depth player, but he might be a trade asset. He might be a trade
I think
asset.
He's got to be a trade asset. That's what I'm going for. And I'm sorry I cut you off, but it just talking about the contract. I think it's just to have some value to trade him elsewhere, because I don't know. I really don't see, especially with what we saw last season. Like, he doesn't bring what Arbor Jacki brings. I think Arbor Jacki, and I'm praying to God, of course. I'm praying that he's just your number 6 defenseman. That's it. He's just your number 6,
I've always
possibly
said
even
it.
your number 7 defenseman.
I've always said Arbor Jacki is a perfect number 5, number 6. You give him 13 to 15 minutes. If he can improve his game and be a good guy on the penalty kill, like one of those, be a Ben Sherratt, cross check him in the back, get out of my goalie's face, get out of my goalie's crease. He's got to do that, and all he has to do, clear the puck, a good perfect one pass out of the zone. That's it. That's all he has to do. If he has an opportunity to use his shot at the point, you do it. But otherwise, dude, Marty loves Arbor. Like, this whole bullshit. Like, Marty was on Missing Curfew podcast, I believe, and he said that, like, I love coaching Arbor. I love the guy. Like this whole narrative that Marty doesn't like Arbor. I
Chris and
don't.
are
I
gonna
don't.
get to the bottom of this. When we see him on the 14th, we're gonna talk to him. Okay, Chris?
Yeah. Okay.
You wanna
I
go
mean,
up to him,
talk to him. He's not gonna. He's not gonna answer your question.
straightforward. I'm like, listen, what the fuck's your problem?
I'd love to see you grow a set of balls and fucking tell him that to his face.
Hey guys, see this
I
black
would
guy?
pay. Chris, you're gonna be there. Film it. If you have to FaceTime me, I'll be in Italy. I don't care about the time difference.
Guys, that would be fucking good content for us.
You getting knocked out by you getting knocked out by Arbor. It would never happen. But
We'll get season tickets from that.
no, I don't. I'm curious to see. I think Jaden Struble could get a 2-year contract that like kind of like what Arbor and Justin Barron got, like the between the $1 and $2 million for 2 years, or $1 million or 2 years, 2.5 each ish for 2 years. To me, it's the Jakub Dobeš contract. This is the one I'm most curious about because now the message is perfectly clear. Jacob Fowler is the future.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Fowler, you give him 50 games in Laval. You do the same thing, the exact same thing they did with Jakub Dobeš. Played 52 games out of 72 games in Laval before he got called up. Started his season in Laval, got called up right away because it just wasn't working out for Caden Primo. That was absolutely clear. But it's also to me because I think Montembeault has got 1 year left on his contract.
I was just about to say, guys,
so
you can't. It's not. I don't want to go down that route, and I know that is probably
Montembeault's got 2 years left. So
I think it's an unpopular opinion here in Montreal, what I'm about to say, but I think Monty is the guy that has to. I'm hoping that Dobeš, we can sign him for like a 2.5 million for 3 to 4 years. I think that's a reasonable contract potentially, with the understanding that we want him here for that period of time. But I think when the time comes, it's Monty that's going to have to move. I think his contract is going to be higher up. I think it's going to be an opportunity to clear a little amount of cap space. But I also think that we're also going to get more assets for him as, a Team Canada goalie. Whether or not he was a third string goalie doesn't really matter. I think we stand to gain a lot more. And I think also Dobeš is going to handle being a backup goaltender a lot better for some odd reason than Montembeault.
Oh, I have an opposite opinion.
You do?
I do.
That's okay.
So
I mean, that's the whole point of talking.
No. This is up for debate. This is what I'm predicting will happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but this is the gut feeling I get. Monty has 2 years left at $3.15 million. I get the feeling that they might sign Dobeš for 2 years, and at the end, and both those contracts are going to come to an end. And I think it's going to be the battle of, I wouldn't say the backup to Jacob Fowler once he's ready, but it's going to come down between the two. And if you want my personal opinion, I think they keep Monty as a backup more than Dobeš, just to you have a veteran to mentor Jacob Fowler, especially in this market, especially in the Canadiens market.
I could see that too, and it's all going to depend too on the number of games. And to me, it's number of games that they intend on playing Fowler. Whether if it's going to start off as like a 50-50 split type of thing, that would be, I'd be okay having Monty, or I'd still be okay having Dobeš. But the big thing is also the salary, because if Monty starts going for like a $6-7 million contract, I just don't think it's going to fit. I think we're going to end up being tight on the cap for like when you have Demidov, Hudson, Dobson, Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, those 6 contracts when they're going to be in full effect. I'm not saying that it's going to be impossible. I'm just saying that it's going to and thank God the cap is going to only continue to go up. It's going up rather aggressively next season. But all that to say, even though we're going to have more cap room, I think it's going to get filled pretty quickly with those 6-7 contracts. Exactly. I didn't even factor in Reinbacher. So,
there's like Anthony said at the very beginning, like Does this mean it's the end of the rebuild? Probably, but we can all agree that now the pieces are all in play, and it's just a question of development.
It's all about development now.
Getting seasoned in Laval a little bit more.
Yep.
Your Florian Jack guys, your Owen Becks, your Luke Tucks, your David Reinbacher. You want to throw in a Logan Mailloux in there? Absolutely. Jacob Fowler is going to be the starting goalie for Laval. So everything is set in motion now. So it's exciting. It's very, very, very exciting. So listen, free agent frenzy, man. I think if the Canadiens can land, if Kent Hughes can sign a Valeno, a veteran guy, just to be a bottom six role, that isn't too bad at all. That's not too bad at all, man. Did you guys see Romanov's contract signing? Him and dude.
Yeah.
The Evan Bouchard contract at $10 million for 4 years just goes to show that the Canadiens won the deal of Noah Dobson. And Evan Bouchard, offensively, he's gifted. Defensively, he's got his moments. But it just goes to show that the players know each other. And when they see and hear Noah Dobson saying, I wanted to come to Montreal, and he was willing to take a pay cut just to come to a culture winning team, or a team that has that winning culture in mind, sky's the limit now, boys.
Call me arrogant. Call me like way too confident, and I definitely don't want to jinx them. I'm just saying I think it's a general consensus that people know that there's a guarantee. I don't even want to say it, but there's a guaranteed cup within. I think there's a guaranteed cup here in Montreal within the next 7 years.
Yeah, I've been saying that. You guys made fun of me in my 7 to 9 year plan, and we're in year 3, and there's so maybe let's go with 6 or 7 next year. No, Vegas is winning next year.
Within 7 years, I think it could be 2 years from now. I think it could be 2 years that the Montreal Canadiens completely turn everything.
But I'm saying 2 years.
Yeah, okay.
I think realistically, within
Playoff
3
this
years,
year, contending next year, cup in year 3. There we go.
Logan Stankoven just signed with the Canes an extension, $6 million AAV.
The stank.
Logan Stankoven, who was part of the Mikko Rantanen deal to Carolina.
There we go. All right.
So that's it. That's all I got, folks. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
That's the story she wrote.
Once again, happy Canada Day to all the listeners out there. Happy free agency. Let's see what happens in the next couple of hours. Guys, thanks for listening to us. If you have any things you want to say, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please leave us an honest rating. We want to hear what you think about us. It's the only way to make us better. If you like what you hear, you can listen to us on any podcast platform such as Apple, Spotify, Google, and any other podcast platform you like to listen to. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok, I guess. And thank you to our sponsors, Hapscave. Follow him at Hapscave on Instagram. He's an amazing guy. Please follow him. Good content. And also follow Mike's Rubs. Place an order. His products are amazing, especially now for barbecue season. I mean, good for all year long, but especially barbecue season. Guys, Chris, Sammy.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy the day.
Closer and closer to
the summer
to start. Hey, we're gonna.
I already can't wait for September.
You can't wait for the next week. Enjoy Italy, Sam.
In 2 weeks, but yeah, Canadiens development camp starts right now. Today,
the next 2 days,
tomorrow, and
Thursday.
Oh,
time to close up.
Oh, you bastard! All righty,
like that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time. Bye now.
Bye now.
Good night.